You eat clean, you take probiotics, you've done gluten-free, dairy-free, you feel like you probably have the cleanest diet out there, yet your gut is still destroyed. You still feel like you spend your life around bathroom access. Here is what nobody is telling you. The healthy habits that you are following may be the exact reason your gut is still out of balance. In the next 4 minutes, I'm going to share with you 4 things that are believed to keep your gut healthy, but actually may be what is keeping you stuck in your IBS. You've done your research, you've had your testing, you've spent hundreds, if not thousands, on random supplements, you've done all of the diets, yet you keep feeling stuck in your IBS symptoms. It is time that someone told you the truth about what can actually fix your IBS. I'm Aneliya, a board-certified physician assistant specialized in gastroenterology for the past 11 years. Now, working in holistic healing, where we actually get to heal IBS. The clients that arrive the most frustrated are usually the ones that do the most. They do all of the diets perfectly, they eat the cleanest, they take the best, most expensive supplements, yet they feel stuck. The effort is real, the direction is wrong. Here are the 4 gut recommendations that keep your IBS stuck and what each tells you about what is going on. High fiber foods are gut health heroes unless you have SIBO, dysbiosis, or digestive dysfunction. Fiber is one of the healthiest things for your body and for your gut. It is what feeds your microbiome. It helps it diversify and grow in numbers. However, if you have SIBO, which is bacteria in the small intestine, if you have dysbiosis, not enough good bacteria, or maybe too many of good bacteria that causes inflammation, if you have issues with digestion, whether that is your stomach acid, pancreatic or biliary function, fiber may be something that actually makes you feel worse. This is something I hear very commonly with my clients. They will come in and state that when they have fiber, when they have a raw salad, the more fiber they have, the worse their IBS is. It sends them running to the bathroom. They usually spend hours in the bathroom after eating just one salad. The reason for that is fiber fuels not just the good bacteria, but also the bad bacteria that is living in your small intestine if you do have SIBO, which 9 times out of 10 people with IBS do. These bacteria ferment the fiber and cause even more bloating, cramping, and then diarrhea. So clients end up either continuing to try to eat more fiber because this is what they hear they must do to change their gut, or they completely eliminate it and follow diets like the keto diet or even the carnivore diet, which ends up making them sick later because it limits their microbiome even more down the line, making their leaky gut worse, making their food sensitivity worse, and making them unable to process any fiber in the future. Fiber isn't good or bad for IBS. It depends on what's living in your gut and where. Fiber isn't the only thing that the wellness industry has gone backwards. The next one will surprise you even more. Fermented foods and probiotics can make IBS dramatically worse if SIBO is the driver. Fermented foods, once again, are excellent for your microbiome. They can feed the good bacteria and help it flourish. However, if you already have bacteria in the small intestine that is fermenting your foods to begin with, or you have candida or any type of yeast that is growing in your intestines, adding more fermented foods will make you feel much worse. You will have even more fermentation, more bloating, more gas, more histamine reactions, and all over body systemic issues that candida, for example, can do when you feed its flames. Probiotics can work in similar ways. If you have certain good bacteria, like Enterobacter, for example, that are too high, if you add probiotics that contain these bacteria, you will cause more inflammation. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing, even with probiotics. So if you are blindly taking a probiotic and you for some reason start feeling worse, this is why. We can never blindly give you even a probiotic. Without data, you can make symptoms much worse. So evaluating your microbiome before beginning any plan, including a probiotic, is crucial. What about elimination diets? This is where long-term damage can happen. I mentioned above that people can sometimes switch to very extreme diets like keto diets or carnivore diets to try and avoid anything that triggers their symptoms, which fiber many times can do that when you have an imbalance. So they start eliminating half of the foods on the planet. When you start eliminating fiber-rich foods, you actually start to limit your microbiome even more. When you limit the microbiome diversity, you create even more leaky gut. More leaky gut causes more food sensitivities, and your list of safe foods grows shorter and shorter. I have many clients who come to me that have gone deep into this rabbit hole of elimination diets over years and years, and they can safely eat maybe 5 foods. This is exactly why. They have limited their microbiome even more, creating more leaky gut, and now they cannot tolerate most of the foods. I had a client who was vegan. She had one of the cleanest diets I had ever seen. However, she continued to have horrible IBS symptoms. Within weeks of working together, we restored her digestive function. We gave her the correct probiotics for her gut. We eliminated any pathogens that may be fermenting foods, like candida, like bacteria in the small intestines. We helped heal her gut lining and gave her a better ability to actually absorb, digest, and eliminate her foods. Once we were able to do that, she was able to tolerate all of the fiber that she wanted, and she was able to finally enjoy the vegan diet that she wanted to follow without any issues at all. The food was never the problem. What was living in her gut was. Now ask yourself these few things. Has the list of safe foods gotten shorter every year as you followed an elimination diet? Do symptoms worsen every time you try to reintroduce a food that you previously were able to tolerate? Have you been restricting for more than 3 months without testing? If you answered yes to any of these, your diet is managing an untreated condition. The last myth frustrates me even more because it dismisses women's symptoms and tries to tell them that it's basically their fault that they're feeling this way. If this is clicking with you, hit subscribe. I put out videos every week on what's really happening with your gut and what works to fix it. Now let's talk about the myth that's probably being used on you. Stress does not cause IBS. It triggers an imbalance that already exists. It's probably just stress, is what many, many women will hear when they're diagnosed with IBS and when the normal management Band-Aids that are used in conventional medicine have not worked. In fact, at the end of a gastroenterologist's list of Band-Aid solutions that can somehow fix IBS is a low-dose antidepressant, because in conventional medicine it is believed that stress and anxiety are the triggers of IBS. Although stress can trigger many, many imbalances in the body, it will go to where there is weakness or imbalance in the body. It is not the cause of IBS. Many, many people have stress. I think everyone on the planet has stress in varying degrees. Not everyone has urgent diarrhea. So if that is given to you as a cause of your IBS, please ignore. Yes, the gut-brain connection is real. Yes, you must find ways to manage stress better. However, that is not the cause of your IBS. It just identifies where you have an imbalance in the body. Telling someone with IBS is just stress is like telling someone with a broken leg it hurts because you're walking wrong. The trigger isn't the problem, the structure underneath is. I've never had a client whose IBS resolved by managing stress alone. When we treat what testing reveals as an imbalance, stress stops triggering their symptoms because we heal from the root cause. The stress didn't change, the gut resilience did. Now, I would like you to list everything you've been told to do for IBS. Mark each as treating the cause or managing the symptom. Probiotics, managing. Elimination, managing. Stress reduction, managing. Imodium, definitely managing. How many are treating a specific identifiable cause? If that column is empty, you know what is missing, the investigation. The reason so many women feel like failures is that they've been given effort as a solution to a problem that requires information. You cannot discipline your way out of a bacterial imbalance. What you can do is the right testing, treat what you find, and rebuild. The reason it works is that the body is meant to heal. It is meant to be in balance. It just needs the right conditions. Now that you understand why healthy habits can backfire, it is time to understand the next step is to learn how to read your own symptoms. Your body is giving you symptoms that lead directly to what is actually wrong. I made a video breaking down the 5 warning signs that tell me something more specific than regular IBS symptoms. That's the next one to watch. Click the video on your screen now.